Welcome to episode 32 of YOUx2, where we're on a adventure of discovering the two of us that are living this human experience, this human character that we're playing here, and the actor behind this character, a powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being that's made of unconditional love. Hey everybody, it is your brother Zen, and I'm a wake-up artist. My passion is helping us all remember who we really are and of that powerful, amazing connection that we have with the Creator and with the spirit realm. In this episode, we are going to continue looking at how we can expand unconditional love into our lives and into the world by learning how we can discover the unique way in which we want to share our unconditional love with the world. I imagine every human child is handed a dream when they're younger, telling them who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. And being children, we don't know any better, and we just take on that dream as our own, even though it's not. And that adopted dream can have something to do with who you're going to marry and how many children you're supposed to have, what kind of job you're supposed to have, what is your house, your home, your body, how much you're supposed to make, blah, 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 blah. But a big sign that tells us whether we're living our dream or not is if you wake up in the morning and you go, oh crap, I got to go live my dream today. Because if you are living your dream, you're going to probably wake up before the alarm goes up, jump out of bed, excited for the day that you're going to be able to take some more steps in your dream or toward your dream. And when we're living our dream, our true dream, we don't look so much to the outcome and we don't look so much to the future because we've learned to live in this moment. We've learned to enjoy the process of living out our dream. So we can ask, well, what do we do when we find out our dream is an imposter? Our true dream is that would make our heart sing, that would bring joy into our lives. It's actually our soul's desire, our higher self's desire of how it wants us to express love into the world in this lifetime. But our human side, when we come into here, we're veiled from that higher knowledge and that higher awareness, so we may not even have any idea what that is. But we still have kind of an inkling, kind of this urge, this push, this draw to different things in our life. And though a lot of times we push it down and suppress it because we're so inundated with all the should-bes from everyone's opinion of the outside world, and we might even have had our little bubbles burst when we were younger by people saying things like, why don't you do something that's going to be paying more money? You're not going to make any money that way. Or find something that's more secure and that's going to be longer lasting that people are going to like, because people aren't going to want that. And so all that is pushed down inside of us. And it makes sense that if we want to discover that soul's desire for us, that we would connect to our higher self, connect to our soul, so that we could ask it and find out what it is that we had veiled ourselves from. Like, well, how do we do that? I find that if I want to hear the whispers of love from above, the quieter my mind, the clearer it is the message that I can hear from them. So step number one is get away from the noise, step out of the chaos of the outside world, and do that thing that gets your mind quiet. You, out of anyone, knows what that is, whether it's a walk in the park or in nature, going for a drive, going for a jog, painting, playing some music, meditation, a hot bath, sometimes cooking. Whatever it is that you do, quiet the mind. Can also take some deep breaths, because that helps remove us out of that fight or flight mode that our mind is in when it feels and fears that it's not living up to that dream that was given to us, and we're afraid that we're going to hurt someone's feelings or let someone down. So that's step number one. Step number 2 is to purposely step out of the expected, the logic, all that information in our heads about what the right thing is that you're supposed to do with your life in your dream. So it's kind of like imagining that you won $1 billion and you no longer have any needs, anything in the outside world that you need to achieve, that you need to do in order to be successful. And when you sit in that, you can feel, do you feel like, is something still missing? And oftentimes, you've heard of wealthy people that have so much of everything that you could think of that we would need in order to feel whole and complete, but yet they end up ending their lives because they couldn't stand that empty feeling inside, like they were missing something. We're taught, a lot of humans, all of us are taught to look and drink out of 3 cups, is what I call it in the outside world. And we're told that these are the things that are going to fill us up and make us feel whole. And that is relationships, situations, and things. But those do not fill us up. They do not make us feel whole and complete because, like relationships, people change or they pass away. So those things are not fulfilling for very long, if at all. Situations like your job, your education, your social status, so there's circumstances that you can get yourself into. Things never stay the same. So those are unstable and ever changing. And of course, our bodies, our possessions, our bank accounts, all those things break down, deteriorate, are stolen or burned down. So we look to those to fulfill us and make us whole and complete and to define our worth. And they end up disappointing us. They leave us feeling hungry and starving still and thirsty, wanting and wanting and wanting still. The outside world is unstable and temporary. So eventually, after enough disappointment, we turn inward within ourselves, where we find the source of what we've been looking for all along, which is the unconditional love of the higher realms that we find within our heart. It is eternal and it's extremely stable because it is unconditional. It has 0 conditions, which means we can never lose it. It's critical that we connect to that unconditional love and become the chalice. We allow a waterfall of this love to fall down into us and fill us up. We feel whole. We feel complete. We feel loved, like really loved for the first time in our human lives. And we realize that we have everything we need right here inside of our heart. And we stop fearing so much. We stop fearing the rejection of the outside world and we stop fearing death. Those are like our 2 top fears. And we realize through all of this that with that unconditional love, just feeling that little slice of it as a human, that's nothing compared to the amount of unconditional love we're going to have on the other side. So we don't fear leaving this realm to go to that one the more we experience that unconditional love. We also realize with us feeling that unconditional love, we don't fear being rejected because we realize we can never truly be rejected. We just come here as humans to feel what it might feel like to feel rejected. I have a meditation called the I Am Loved meditation. And it basically takes us through where you connect with the I am unconditionally loved. And you fill up with that and you realize that you are made of unconditional love and all that fills you up and then it overflows out to the world. And you realize that you unconditionally love the world. And then you feel this big, wonderful flood of energy back from the world, realizing that the world is made of unconditional love. And through that meditation experience, you just realize that how mighty that this love actually is, and that I am made of that love, and that the entire world and every molecule and every person and everything is also made of that love. In that space of unconditional love, we then go into step number 3, which is to kind of take us back to that I won $1 billion and I'm a billionaire. What am I going to do with all that free time and all that access to those resources? How do I uniquely want to share the unconditional love in my heart with the world? And don't worry, if it doesn't come to you right away, it eventually will. I mean, after a lifetime of all these shoulds and supposed tos and need tos that have clogged our minds, it may take a little bit of time for that to kind of simmer down and quiet down for us to really understand how it is that we want to do that. I had an opportunity when I left corporate life several years ago to really look and ask myself that question. It's like, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do now? And so I sat down with a pad and paper and I started just to see, what is it that spiritual people do? Because that's what we, of course, as you're going on your spiritual path, you think of all these things that you're supposed to do as well. So I wrote down, of course, that I wanted to be a best-selling author, give seminars, be a well-known tarot reader, medium, and just overall spiritual superhero. And it's then I also was introduced to not only knowing that we have an ego, but that we also can have a spiritual ego. But I won't talk about that right now. Because as I sat there, of course, Spirit and Creator, they were with me. I invited them to show me what it is that would be for my biggest benefit and for my experience here and for the collective of all the beautiful souls on the earth. And of course, Spirit is very gentle. They're like, okay, so this is all the stuff that you are thinking you want to do. All right, well, let's go ahead. And so in my mind's eye, they took me to the future and they showed me, and I kind of sat in that feeling the success, feeling that I was this author and all this stuff. And then they just gently asked me, so are you happy? Are you satisfied? Do you feel whole? And I was like, I don't, because I was looking for the next thing. And I realized in that moment that if I wasn't happy right now, right here with what I have, how would I ever be thankful and grateful and satisfied when I reach that point? And then Spirit lovingly asked me, so is your dream for you or is that dream for others? So I again sat there and thought, and I was like, well, isn't it like both? And a Spirit always loves to, give us great information. So they were like, well, technically, yes, because you are one drop in a giant sea of drops, and everything you experience, they all get to experience as well. So technically, your dream does that. But there was a deeper meaning that they wanted to go into. And so, referring back to the I am loved meditation, where you realize that you are made of this perfect love, that it is my being, it is who I am. I'm magical because I'm this super powerful being. And I came here to experience how it might feel to feel limited and small and restricted in my human form, to more fully understand who I am by experiencing, smallness. I understand my bigness. And so I realized through all of that, that I am made of all that, and everyone else came down here to experience that too. Every, human, every plant, every animal, every rock, mineral, every cell came here to experience this human difference from our higher powerful selves. And so it was like, okay, well, so really no one needs me to do anything. The world doesn't need me to try to fix it, to heal it, to change it, because it's perfect already. In fact, it's probably all that trying to fix each other that causes a lot of our battles and our wars. For the sake of this giant improv play that we're all experiencing, we all take on roles of mirrors, reflecting back to each other what we want to see about ourselves until we see it. And we all agree to take on these character roles with all these desires and plans on how we're going to express that unconditional love within our heart with the world. We share that, we overflow with it. And as that unconditional love fills us up and flows out to the world, that ignites the unconditional love in other people as they look into that mirror and see the love. And though the world doesn't need us to do all of that, it is very appreciative that we have agreed to do that and we actually make it happen. Because, of course, every single circumstance, every single person that comes across our path comes on purpose for a purpose. This life that we live does not happen to us. It does happen for us. Once we become aware of the dream, all we have to do is try to stay connected to unconditional love as much as we possibly can. And we will, of course, be drawn out back into the storm of the fear of losing conditional love. We'll also recognize that when we're trying to get validation and recognition of our dream from the outside world, that we have been drawn out there into the fear world. But what we can do is do whatever we can to remind us of that unconditional love, whether it's putting an alarm on our phone to have us come back to the moment and come back to unconditional love, or putting reminders all over the place, whatever it is we need to do to have us remember that we can move into the eye of the storm, into that beautiful unconditional love that lies within our hearts. Now, our soul did choose to have our character born on a certain day, born at a certain time, born to certain parents, to have a certain life that is going to bring us certain challenges and certain gifts into our world. And now at that perfect time, we start waking up to those gifts and start sharing it with the world. In the next episode, we're going to look into astrology and how it can help us with that, understanding what our challenges are that we come into this life with, and what's the highest expression that we can achieve of expressing that love into the world. So I'll also be announcing a special giveaway for what I call a Life Compass Astral reading, which basically provides you information on the North and South Node that bring that information to us. So if you're not currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate you considering doing so, because in addition to announcing the giveaways, announcing the winners of those types of things, I also put out regular videos for weekly energy updates by each zodiac sign, monthly readings for each zodiac sign, and a few other types of videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those, once you subscribe, you can give this video a like. And once you hit the subscribe button, it gives you access to the notification bell, which allows you to select the all option, which means that you'll be notified of any new videos that come out on the channel. Also, doing those things, it does help spread the love, and it does help my channel grow in significant ways. Because when you like a video or you share a video, you comment on a video, and especially subscribing to the channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so happy, excited. It does want to share the videos and messages of this channel with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, I am so very grateful. Also, the readings I put out are general readings, but if you're looking for even more specific information and answers for your specific life, I do offer personal readings. And all that information is listed in the description box below. For many of my services, I have added a sliding price scale, which means you can select from a variety of prices for the same service, depending on what your budget is allowing for at this time. So a little flexibility is added with that. So all you lovely people, thank you so much for watching, for pursuing unconditional love. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. In the meantime, you hang in there and you take care.